Well, again, this is News Today with me, Kemini Nyamani Amanana. Education is on his half. It says Ghana's education system is passive and dormant. And they're not helping students to be assertive. Speaking on the AM show, and Hafa was worried the traditional linear approach to education was not helping Ghana and called for a shift to ensure students are helped to develop their natural attributes.
In Ghana, we are a bit too passive, we are a bit too dormant, and you ask yourself why. It's the way we are raising our young people. And that concerns me a lot, and I talk about it often. That it's very important that we raise young people who can be assertive, who can have tenacity, a sense of purpose, and also the ability to even express themselves and do great presentations. That is the wave of the future. So when we look at education in this country, we cannot be hypocritical and say that we are going to raise our children along the traditional lines, the way I was raised through the 40s and the 50s. Things have changed. We need to be able to help them to stand on their own 2 feet, to know that they are important, to know that they are also a huge element of God's creation, and then see where we can go from there. But I get very disturbed by the traditional methods by which we raise our children, because the 21st century is a whole different ballgame, and we have to begin to see how we can develop assertive, bright young people, because I see them in this country. There are basic things that we have to do, and I think we all know it. It's the ability to write properly, the ability to read properly, and also some element of numeracy to be able to count. Those are the elements. Those are very, very important. And I hope that by the time a child gets to, let's say, JHS, these habits have been formed. This ability to do these basic things. And then now we also have to throw in the element of ICT, computers, because once a person can read and write properly, they know basic subtraction, division, arithmetic, and that sort of thing, and also be able to speak properly. And with ICT, there's a lot that they can do, even if they are not mainstreamed through the university education. Because when you look at the people who are really making some strides, they are not necessarily university material. You know, I call that the linear type education, where you go from class 1 to class 2 and then do JHS, then you do senior high school, and then you do university first degree, master's degree, and PhD. That's the linear approach. We seem to be pushing people in that regard, but that isn't the only way.
He's also calling on the Ghana Education Service to intensify its supervision at the basic education level. This, he says, will ensure teachers give off their best and monitor how pupils are assimilating lessons taught.
I mean, I grew up in a village. I grew up in a village called Tutuka in Obuasi, where we had one room and then trees. So we, when it rained or when it rained, we were in the classroom. When it didn't rain, we were under the trees. And after the first year, class 1, we were able to read and write English. We couldn't speak it, but we were able to read and write it. We were able to read and write P. But this was the instruction was under trees. But the difference was that there was supervision. You know, to be honest with you, since 1996, training teachers in this country, not once have I seen anyone from the Ministry of Education or any other such entity supervising what happens in the schools. So then, if people are not being supervised, we are human beings. We tend to lay back. We tend to kick back. We do not tend to take our work seriously. But like I was saying, when I was growing up, you have the colonial officers who come to, if you're on the tree, they are there with you. You know, to look at what it is that you prepared as your lesson plans, what is it that you are teaching. They want to relate that to the exercises that are being done in the classroom. These are the things that need to be done now. And what is heartbreaking for me is that if you look at the amount of money that is spent on education, and we say that about 30% of the budget is on education, where does the money go? I think it should go to the children, because they are supposed to be the recipients. Older people can take care of themselves. So these are the concerns, and they should be addressed properly. We should have a method.
Well, now, a few hundreds of supporters meant to go to Brazil to support the Black Stars in their first match at the World Cup this year, been stranded at the Kotoka International Airport. Now, joining us is guided that the police has sent them from the airport to the Accra Sports Stadium. Matilda Omega is with them, and she's joining us live now from there with some of these Black Star fans. Hello, Matilda. Right, Matilda, tell us what you've gathered so far. Hello, Matilda. Right, we'll go back to that feed in a bit, but don't forget there'll be more Black Star stories in the sports segment, and briefly we'll find out what's happened with the fans who were unable to go to Brazil and what the next step is for them. Let's talk about food now. It is estimated that Ghana and the rest of Africa could face severe food shortage by the year 2013 if steps are not taken to control the price volatility of food products and build more storage facilities. At an economic lecture at the University of Cape Coast, participants indicated that there was the need for African governments to have strategic food reserves while rolling out insurance packages for farmers to arrest the situation.
The threat of food security, according to experts, will impact heavily on the African continent due to the challenge of climate change and the impact of food loss and waste on the environment. Officials called for the implementation of specific interventions, such as the commitment of a proportion of revenue on food production to deal with the situation. Senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Samuel Enim, called on government to check the country's storage and trade policy and also promote the consumption of diversified diet to deal with the challenge of food security.
Let us make a distinction between price fixing and price stabilization. These are two different things. So if we are fixing prices for a particular commodity, it doesn't mean that you have a food price stabilization program. So please, let us be wary about that argument. As far as I'm concerned, we need a food price stabilization program because cocoa is a complement at the same time substitute to another commodity. And so many other factors come into place. So if you fix the price on cocoa, it doesn't mean that you have a food price stabilization program.
Fishermen were also advised to desist from using dynamites and other destructive fishing methods to help save aquatic life.
There's also the need for increased surveillance and cleaning in the fisheries subsector. We have talked about predatory for a very long time and still it is going on. So we should increase surveillance and then also have the political will, the commitment to deal with the criminals in there so that we can preserve our fishery resources.
Officials at the end of the two-day conference say they will present a communique to government on measures that must be implemented to safeguard the country's economy from external shocks.
So we're going to approach it from two perspectives. One is we're going to develop sort of a brief which would have the 15 major points that have come out from the three thematic areas and distribute these briefs to the appropriate ministries. For instance, Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, MOFA, Ministry of Energy, the Presidency will hand over hard copies to them. Then the other part is to think through sort of very mini workshops for these ministries to highlight these issues that have come forward and ask them what we could do in terms of its actualization.
Thank you very much for staying on here on News Today Now. On the 17th to the 19th of June, Ishmael Yamson and Associates will run a management program designed for businesses and enterprises to help confront and respond to challenges and opportunities in periods of this nature and in spite of the macroeconomic indices, to build the short-term answers and construct the growth platforms that will ensure that these businesses thrive in times like this. I've not said a lot of things, but the point is this program is dubbed Hope in the Midst of Crisis. And here's what I want to find out. how do we find that hope in the midst of the kind of crisis we have here in Ghana? Michael Yamson is senior partner with Ishmael Yamson and Associates. He's here with me in the studio.
Hello.
Pleasure talking to you.
Good pleasure to be with you.
So, let's answer the first question. How do we find that hope in the midst of crisis?
Well, in every crisis, there is opportunity. And the most important thing is to begin to re-look at the fundamentals around your business and understand how the environment is impacting on those fundamentals. From that base, you can then begin to look at where the opportunities are to sustain the business and then to build platforms for long-term growth. So that is the conversation that we want to begin to have with the private sector in Ghana.
It sounds like serious business. Who can attend to this?
Well, literally everybody who is an operator in the private sector can attend. If SOEs can attend. People who have an interest in understanding where the private sector can play a more dynamic role in terms of getting us out of the current situation. It's quite often the story that government needs to fix this and government needs to fix that. But the truth of the matter is that government is only steering. Somebody's got to get the bicycle moving and pedal. And that is the private sector. And the private sector, therefore, needs to take a more proactive role. And so we want to begin a conversation that says, re-look at the way in which we pedal that bike.
We've had that before,
Yes.
the fact that the private sector needs to, do more. How different is what we're going to learn from this program?
Well, I mean, what is going to be different about this is that we want to tackle that issue of strategy decay because the sorts of things that we did as businesses and private sector the last time that we had stability in the economy is not necessarily relevant for the situation in which we find ourselves today. And it certainly will not be relevant when we come out of this particular time. And so it's very important that we address the issue of keeping strategy in the private sector vibrant, alive, and dynamic. Quite often in academic circles, it is said that in change, people actually tend to resort to what they know from the past. But actually what we need to do is to re-look at the drivers of success. And so that is the issue that we want to address. The status quo is no longer relevant.
What form is this going to take?
Well, we're going to have a plenary. And during the plenary, Dr. Yamson, Kelly Gajipo, Kwesi Okun from Aluex, Dr. Bill Popolampo from the Central University Business School will talk to us about issues relating to value creation. They'll talk to us about finding value within your current business. They'll talk to us about the risks and the opportunities. We'll have an overview of the economic trends, and we will not look for the problems. We will look for the opportunities in those trends. And so that is what we will tackle during the plenary tomorrow, 5 p.m. at Labadi Beach Hotel. And then there will be that will be followed by 2 days of workshops at Cleaver House. And that is when we'll get into the meat, sector by sector, business by business. It truly is going to be very exciting.
And then it brings me to my point again about this being really serious business.
Yes.
What does one need to attend this event?
An open mind and a willingness to relook at the truth of how their business is going to thrive.
Do I need to have some special qualifications to be there?
None at all. You just have to have a passion for the private sector.
Yes. I see. And give us the venue for the event again.
The plenary is at Labadi Beach Hotel.
Which is June 17th, tomorrow.
June 17th, tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And then the workshops are at Cleaver House from 8:30 in the morning on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll finish by 4 o'clock latest each day.
I see. So for if an entrepreneur who's coming or a business operator who's coming, at the end of the day, what should the person expect to have taken away?
Well, they should expect to have taken away a fresh view for evaluating the strategy that is driving their business. What we're saying essentially is that strategy decay is probably the most critical matter that the private sector has not yet addressed. And we're going to start a conversation and we're going to give people tools and help to begin to change and enliven their business strategies and their business models.
So there is hope in the midst of crisis, and we are going to find it.
There is great hope in the midst of crisis.
You're going to find it on June 17 and 18 or 19.
June 17th, there's a plenary. That's going to set the scene. 18th and 19th, there's a workshop. So we're going to deal with the meat of the matter.
Absolutely.
Look, in every crisis, there is opportunity. It comes to those who find it.
It just clicked that tomorrow is June 17. Is it too late to be part of the program?
No, it's not.
And so if I want to be part of the program, what's
tickets are available here at Joy FM at your front desk. Tickets are available online at egotickets.com. So tickets are still available.
And it's not too late.
And it's not too late.
To be part of those finding hope in the midst of crisis.
We've got a big tent.
Absolutely. Thank you very much once again, Ishmael. Ishmael Yamson or Michael Yamson.
Michael Yamson.
I don't know. Michael Yamson is senior partner with Ishmael Yamson and Associates. We've been talking about how you can find hope in the midst of crisis. So June 17 at the Labadi Beach Hotel, 5 p.m. There is a plenary session and workshops June 18 and 19 at Cleaver House here in Accra, near Tigo. I'm sure you'd find that you should make sure that you make your way, if indeed you want to find hope in the... I want to really. And it's not too late. You will come here for your tickets or just go to egotickets.com and you can get your tickets from there as well. Many thanks, Michael. Pleasure talking to you. Let's talk about something else. Government is being tasked to consider renewable energy, especially solar and nuclear, as two key components to help tackle the country's energy crisis. Participants at the University of Cape Coast Economic Lecture expressed grave concern that the current energy crisis being experienced in the country poses a great threat to the survival and smooth functioning of the economy.
The two-day workshop organized by the Economics Department of the University of Cape Coast sought to discuss Africa's economic growth and the challenge and development of sustainable energy supply on the continent. The meeting agreed that Africa had a lot of unexploited hydropower, about 80% that could be harnessed to power the energy needs of the continent. But officials identified the lack of investment in the energy sector as some major challenges confronting the sector. For the current situation in Ghana, participants at the roundtable discussion tasked government to implement stringent policies aimed at sustainable energy savings. Ghana, they indicated, was endowed with a lot of solar power, and it's about time government took a decision about tapping into solar investments to power the country's energy needs.
Currently, we have an emergency at hand. Therefore, we need to take an emergency decisions and actions in order to surmount and clear this emergency hurdle. After this, then, we would have to move in search of a sustainable local indigenous action and solutions that would permanently guarantee optimum growth and create conditions for sustainable economic development.
It is currently estimated the power generation in the country has dropped from 2,300 megawatts to 1,100 megawatts, a sharp contrast of the 2,500 megawatts of power needed to power the country energy needs.
Well, I'm excited for the next segment of the program today, which is the sports segment with Benedict Owusu. We'll give you an update on the situations leading to in the lead up to the Ghana match against United States of America. I'm representing my country already. Don't go away. Sports is brought to you by Cowbell. We'll be right back with that.
A very good afternoon to you wherever you are. It's a pleasure joining you once again on this platform. And at this time, we are talking Black Stars because they've got a big game coming up against the United States of America, and Ghana will begin its campaign at this year's World Cup as they try to beat the United States of America for the third straight time at the World Cup this evening, following victories in 2006 and in 2010 that sent the U.S. home. Captain Asamoah Gyan and Coach Kwesi Appiah say the team is ready to face their opponents. They assure Ghanaians the team will make the nation proud.
Back home the expectation is high back home. Everybody's expecting Ghana to to prove ourselves once again this year. Last 2 tournaments that we've been going, and I think we believe in ourselves. And talking about a goal scoring thing, I'm a striker, and everybody expects me to score sometimes. But I believe in teamwork, so we have to just stay focused and then be like a team, and then make sure we do the right thing. And I think the victory will come by itself, when we are more dedicated and stay compact here. We know that's what everybody thinks about Ghana, about rating Ghana as underdogs and the other teams as favorites, which is statistically, which is is the right thing. But football doesn't come with names anymore. It depends how you're gonna do on the field. Yeah, definitely the United States will be coming in their numbers to support their players, and that is what we've witnessed from the past 2 World Cups playing against them. Definitely sometimes the fans play a very, very important role in the game. They keep on cheering their players to give them more power to just do what they are doing. But not forgetting, we are on the field, we are on the players, not the fans. So the fans can do their job. They have to just make sure they cheer their players to do the thing. But secondly, is the 22 players on the field which are dealing with each other. So we will make sure we do our right thing. That was what I said earlier. We have to just stay focused and then play our normal game. Definitely the fans play very important, but we also do our thing. We make sure we do the right thing on the field and then make sure we come out victorious.
It's difficult to say that Ghana is going to play a totally different tactical display tomorrow. We have been watching the US game. I believe in taking the game as it comes, and for now, we're looking at the US. So we put in so many, tactics into our training sessions, because tactics depends on the quality of players you've got, and then at the same time the opposing team that you're facing. So tactics could be changed at any given time, and I cannot be very specific as to what tactics I'm going to start tomorrow now.
So Coach Kwesi and Asamoah Gyan there assuring Ghanaians definitely they're going for victory ahead of the United States of America later tonight. Remember, that game will kick off exactly 10 p.m. tonight. And officials in the World Cup host city of Natal, that's where Ghana will be playing the United States of America, have declared a flood alert ahead of the game. In the northern eastern Brazilian city, Natal City Hall declared the alert late on Sunday following 2 days of near continuous rains that reached the area's average for the entire month of June. More rains are expected throughout Monday. The U.S.-Ghana match is scheduled for later this afternoon in Brazil, and the statement from Natal City Hall says no deaths or injuries have been reported in the flooding. Well, we still stay with the issue of World Cup, and it's a pleasure to introduce to you a fan, an American who joins me in the studio to talk about their chances ahead of the game later tonight. Lancelot joins me in the studio. Good afternoon, and thanks for your time. I hear you can speak some tree.
I'm a tree.
All right, okay. So you're an American. How long have you been in Ghana?
I'm US, and I've been here for 4 months now. 4 months.
Okay, so today we've got a big game against Ghana. Remember in 2006, Ghana defeated your country 2-1. In 2010, same scoreline. You think this time you stand a better chance of avenging that result?
Yes, this time I'm telling you, it's going to be 3-1. You'll see.
What makes you so sure that you beat Ghana this time?
I don't know. I mean, I feel it. I feel it in my soul. Do
you have the team to beat Ghana now?
I think maybe our squad might be slightly better, and who knows? Maybe some of your players got older. We don't know. We'll have to see. The only way we can know is we see tonight.
Watch. Have you been watching your team, the USA?
Dabby. It's not popular in the US, football, so.
But you've been watching the Black Stars, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Black Stars.
You like the Black Stars?
I'm all USA on this one.
And I can see at your back Obama. You turn your back to the camera. Let's see what's there.
Obama.
So that's Obama there. And And he believes that the USA will beat Ghana later tonight.
Bahama.
That's going to be 3. You say your scoreline is what? Scoreline?
3-1.
3-1. So the players that are going to get the goals for USA?
Ooh.
You don't even know any player and you think you beat Ghana? Huh?
Ampa.
Well, that's just for the fun of it. Ghana up against the United States of America later tonight, and that's really going to be an interesting game, and it promises to be fun. Make sure you stay tuned to radio on Joy 99.7 FM because there'll be live commentary for you. We still continue with the World Cup and still stay in the camp of the Black Stars and the United States of America. It's just the expectations of Ghanaians. We are just picking up what people are saying ahead of this big game involving the United States of America later today. Well, we are unable to bring you that insert. Definitely we'll bring it to you later, so you make sure you stay tuned to News Today. But now to the camp of Cameroon, and Captain Samuel Eto'o is almost certain to miss Wednesday's World Cup game against Croatia because of injury. Eto'o has not trained for 2 days and is unlikely to recover in time for the crucial Group A game in Manos. The 33-year-old striker wrote on Twitter that the doctors confirm I will probably not be available to play because of a knee injury that is causing me pain. Cameroon and Croatia both lost their opening games and are facing early elimination from the tournament. Okay, so we'll go back to the expectations of Ghanaians and what people have been saying ahead of the game.
I'm expecting my people to deliver, the Ghanaian players to deliver, because the reason why I'm saying that is we don't want them to be complacent because they've done it once before in 2010. So what we are telling them, they should not be complacent. They should just be focused because we know we have a good technical bench. We have the coaches. There are so many coaches who are going to support them. So we are just telling them that they should go all out, then they should deliver and just win the match for us. Our prediction will be 2-1.
They must be tactically strong in the mind, and because US, when you see the matches they play so far, you realize that physically they are very strong as compared to Ghanaians. We are not up to that level, so I want them to be very strong on the pitch.
I'm expecting a lot from the boys. I know Asamoah will deliver. But first goal, I'm expecting the day you and Asamoah.
Well, so for me, if you ask me of the scoreline today, I'll tell you Ghana will score no less than 5. I believe it will happen. So 5 in favor of Ghana this evening, and definitely, God willing, tomorrow I'll meet you here and tell you more about that game. But even before the Ghana game, we've got Germany coming up against Portugal. That's exactly at 4. And also Nigeria will play Iran at 7 before the big game that you're all waiting for, the Black Stars against the United States of America. Thanks for your company. My name is Benedict Owusu. As always, the sports segment on News Today.